volunteer, we count the tickets, and then each club gets a little bit of it because they were involved in that event. I think this would be a great way to get more clubs involved, in a way to encourage them to, if we had money attached to their time that was volunteer, a small amount, that then they can turn around and use it for publicity items. Because then they could create their own like pamphlet to hand out at these events and be able to, and then you could also get volunteers for the stuff that you have to do. So if they, the time that they're spending as a club is connected, instead of a ticket, connected to dollars.
Yeah.
So I think you'd get a lot more people volunteering to come early to help set up and do the stuff that's difficult for you, because money's attached to those hours. And then, you know, that way we could, if that makes sense. I think that'd be a great way to infuse money back into the clubs and allow them to have money for publicity.
Yeah, we can work out a system like that. For the next event that I'm planning, the company that I'm working partially with, they do actually supply staff volunteers. So maybe instead of getting staff volunteers, we can work out a system to employ the clubs. The clubs appreciate being out there, and I love having them. It just sucks when people are like, I have class, and then they can't show up. But if like they have class, they can do that, and we have a time where they can get paid. I'm pretty sure everyone will benefit from that.
Just a suggestion.
Thank you. Anybody else? Who got the most signups? BSU, how many did you get?
40.
40?
Dang.
Is that a record high?
Dude, AGS.
Yeah.
Better watch out.
Yes, it's good
Alpha Gamma
practice.
Sigma, what'd you get?
I was only able to be there an hour a day, so I wasn't really sure
How much?
what wrong we did. On Monday when I was there, I got 5, and then I wasn't really sure the other days.
Phi Theta Kappa?
I don't know how many we had exactly, because we were giving out, we weren't taking names more than giving out our flyers. We spent some money to make some flyers. And then we have a generator on the new Weebly. And remember, you guys can have your own Weebly site, it's free. So ptkmjc.weebly.com, and there's a generator where people could sign up on there and get and send right to your email. So I think you guys, if you don't have a website, it's free. So ptkmjc.weebly.com, and you can find out the information on the bottom how to do that for yourself.
Any other comments, concerns? Jonathan?
I was going to say for signups, I think this has probably been one of the best semesters for gamers. The first 2 days, I think we had a total of 7 signups. But for Wednesday and Thursday, we had almost a full page of signups each day. So that's at least 40 people. So, I mean, that's one of the best that we've had in a long time. So it's really good.
How'd you guys feel about the food options? Were they better than last club rushes? We all agreed on no more tamales.
No more tamales.
Yes,
It went a little bit more smoother than it did in the past. You know, it was, the lines was long, yes, on this campus and the other, but it went a lot smoother than just people get upset and angry that they couldn't get fed before they went to class. And so it was easier for them to get to class, enjoy a meal, and people use the right time.
Thank you. So like I said, I think Club Rush was a success since I haven't heard any bad things, and I'm guessing you guys probably agree. One thing I want to remind the clubs are, and I've done this twice now, and only 2 clubs have come to me for it. You know how like we set up and then people like rip the paper banners off the table and stuff like that? I've asked the clubs in the past to send me your logos so I can create banners for you guys so we can have a more professional table look. Only 2 clubs in this whole term have sent me a logo, and that's Aikido and one other club. And I can't think of it off the top of my head. Oh, Historical History Colloquial Society. So if you guys can please desperately send me those logos so I can print you guys banners so we can look good. We won't have problems with people stealing tables this time around. I'm not going to point fingers or name names. But that's something we need to work on. And we'll try and come up with some rules of Club Rush. I know there was only 2 complaints and we got them handled right away. So everything went smoothly, and the clubs were all participating. I really enjoyed it. Child development, though, was getting on my nerves.
Whoa. We had a blast.
Yeah, I know. I had a megaphone. They tried to challenge me with their little handheld thing. It was a competition, but we got it. I appreciate Metro working with us to do their cupcake sale during Club Rush. I know it's probably difficult for them, but they did end up doing a good job, so I want to appreciate them for that. And that's all I have, unless anyone else has any questions.
What was your name again?
Kyle Brown.
Kyle Brown. Okay. What was your name again? Kyle Brown.
Kyle Brown. And the club meetings in the Modesto B. I know I posted a, thank you, Rodrigo. I posted on the ICC page, I believe. I know Rodrigo was one of the main photos for Pirates for Liberty, correct? And then I don't remember the other people offhand, but we did look at the Modesto B. Aikido was in there, Sensei was in the picture, so that's congratulations to you guys again on that. That's it.
If there is nothing else on this item, we'll move on. Okay, now we're moving on. So we have nothing under presentations and introductions. Special orders, unfortunately, the state and Senate has not sent out their agenda or their minutes since their last meeting yet. And then we'll move on to standing orders, club reports, which club would like to go first. All right, BSC.
Hi guys, well, as you know, we went to the Black Caucus this past weekend, which was an educational leadership conference that we all attended. We met senators, congressmen, the mayor of Oakland, from the Black Power movement. We met different people in our organization. It was really educational. We had a nice time. We ate really well. I want to thank the school for sending us and have given us the opportunity of going. We also came back. We left on Friday at 7, came back on Sunday at 8. So we had a really nice time. Other than that, we want to focus on today. Today we're doing a movie called Walkout. We're in partnership with Metcha. It's in room 101 in the Forum Building at 6 o'clock today. If you can make it, you can. Some of your professors are using it as extra credit. And then on the 19th, we're doing another movie titled Dark Girls, and it has a panel of analysis right after that. So if you'd like to stick around and go to that, you can use it, and those credit to that. On the 28th of this month, we're having our African American conference, which is we need volunteers. So if any of your club members like to come out and volunteer and get some community service hours and campus hours, we can do that. It starts at 8:30 in the morning till 4 o'clock. We will be feeding the volunteers. This year we're doing something different. We're taking the students on a tour of the ag department, as well as them having a workshop and doing the breakout sessions. Food is going to be catered. So we have a Black Caucus coming this year to our event. And not to boast anything, but next year the Black Caucus is coming to our school, is hosting it. So we have an opportunity to host a grand event at our school for it to be hosted here on the MJC is our charge to do it. So that's it. That will be every second and fourth Friday of the month at 12:32. 1:34.
I just have a question with your report. So the student senate and like facilities have already approved for the conference to be here next
We
year?
haven't started yet, so we just started the date for today.
Okay. Okay. All right, so we'll go this way, I guess. So Freedom Forum will be meeting this Thursday from 4 to 5 in Founders, what is the name? Sorry, one sec. 136, sorry. And also we will be discussing the March in March. I'll be giving a legislative update for both January and February because those are the most recent ones. You guys are more than welcome to come in and participate with that. We will also be discussing our scholarship dinner. It's not too late to sign up for the clubs. We are going to be offering a like $50 scholarship for like new members, and you just have to meet the qualifications of it. So that will be discussed in our meeting on Thursday, and we're planning on hosting some kind of event. We just don't know what yet this semester.
Okay, so I reported on the meeting times at the last meeting. For this meeting, I was told to bring up that we're trying to show a movie called Dinosaur 13. I don't know much about it. You'd have to contact Rob, but he did say that they're looking for more club involvement in it. Mainly, I think there's a financial burden that would come for showing it, but they're hoping to sell tickets and popcorn and all that type of stuff. That's it.
So March 6th, we're gonna be having the next scope night, starting at 6 p.m. fun stuff, and it's a pretty big deal around the community. And yeah, I invite all of you guys, the Astronomy Club invites all of you guys to come along. And again, our meetings are Tuesdays at 4 at the Science Center on West Campus. 133.
All right, Operation Green.
Our meetings are Mondays at 4 p.m. in Science Community Center 211. We changed it to 211 a couple weeks ago. So, yeah, that's it.
Great. Psychology, sorry.
Hey guys, Psychology Club. Like I said in the last meeting, I'm the new ICC president. I'm Alex Acosta. We're currently having our meetings from 4 to 5 every Tuesday. Well, we try to do every Tuesday, not bi-weekly, from 4 to 5. Typically, we try to work on community events and activities within our own group, within our own community. But currently, we're trying to get speakers in, like counselors or just people with knowledge and fill us up with wisdom and letting us know how we can build our careers and our education through psychology or just in our future endeavors. So again, that's Founders Hall 178 from 4 to 5 every Tuesday, and if not every Tuesday, it's bi-weekly. We typically post it on Facebook, so thank you.
Geology.
Okay, Geology has 2 barbecues coming up. One next Monday on the West Campus from 10 to 2. And the other one is March 23rd also. And both of them are going to be on the West Campus. So come and get your poncho burger.
Like, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably, that's all I know. That's what I know. Oh, March 23rd and February 23rd. Wow.
All right, thank you. AGS?
Right now we're planning on having a game night next week. We're going to have a shorter meeting and have a 1-hour game night. And or one-on-one, 5:30 to 6:30. We meet first and third Tuesday of every month, or one-on-one Tuesdays, 4:30 to 5:30.
Awesome. MJC Democrats?
Nothing to report except for to mention that MJC Democrats is going to be collaborating with Pirates for Liberty for the film showing, and I have a bit more info on it. Those are the film is called Dinosaur 13. It's a documentary about the largest T-Rex fossil ever found, which sounds pretty awesome. But that's not, unfortunately, not all the movie's about. Because of convoluted laws and policies regarding land trust, the fossil was seized promptly by the federal government. So a big part of the theme of the film is going to be about really the role of the government in things like academic thought, scientific endeavors, and learning. And I know that obviously Pirates Party is involved, Democrats are involved. I know that he's talked to college Republicans, they're on board. He's talked to Phi Theta Kappa. I'm not sure if he's been in contact with AGS yet. But I know also that he talked to, I believe, Geology.
And they haven't told me anything. I even brought it up at the last meeting. Nobody's really said anything, so I'll keep pushing it.
Okay. And I think he mentioned that he was going to try to talk to anthropology as well. So, I mean, obviously clubs that, from either a political or academic standpoint have a stake in the topic of getting involved. I'd encourage any others who are interested to get involved. Part of the reason why finances were brought up is because for us to be able to show the video, we can't simply just, grab the DVD and put it in. We actually have to license it properly and go through the contracts. So the cost for those who hold the rights is $500 for the kind of audience we're looking to show. The more clubs are able to get involved, willing to pitch in, that actually reduces the costs considerably. Because $500 for a club not planning on asking for money from ASMJC can be quite a bit. So if any of you are interested, talk to me, talk to Andrew, or talk to President Ben Tynan. Thank you.
Keto?
Okay, so we all pretty much had a good run with Club Rush. I think we had about at least 2 pages full of names that are people interested. So tonight at 6:30, we'll see if anybody comes. And tomorrow at 7:30 minutes too.
Okay. Awesome. Musicians go? Yeah. Her name's right there. Yeah. During Club Rush, we got 2.5 pages of signups, so yay. And we're talking about the Spring Festival, and our next meeting is this Friday at 2 in the Music Building in room 1.
Right now, we're working on getting another speaker, but he usually comes every semester and he helps with the musicians on performing. And so that's kind of costly. So it's, right now, it's so far first come, first serve for the people who get scholarships for it. But we're also planning on fundraising in the near future so that others who want to little quirk get access to it, so without having to pay for show votes. So we're thinking of pretty much selling beverages and snacks and stuff from the music building for $1 so far soon. And next meeting will be, I believe, this Thursday, 2 o'clock tomorrow.
Awesome. Leadership experience?
We just had our first meeting last week of the semester, and we talked about Springfest, and we brainstormed some events, and our meeting times are Tuesdays from 2:25 to 3:25 in Yosemite Hall, room 117.
Hi. Well, we had 21 signups for Club Rush, which was pretty good. Although the people that signed up weren't there at the meeting the next day, that's still okay because we still had like 14 members show up. And as I'm really new to this, so I think the only thing I want to say is that we're working on lactation rooms on both campuses. We started with a small idea, but we spoke with our dean and he told us to think bigger. So now we're working on our project. And we have a meeting tomorrow at West Campus, John Muir, room 155 from 4 to 5. Free pizza and cupcakes. That's all.
Our next meeting is, this upcoming Monday at 5:15 on the West Campus in the MSR 116. And usually we have our meetings the first and third Mondays, and we are planning to have game nights on the off Mondays. So the second and fourth Mondays we'll have like game nights. Like I know our past night we had, we brought in a Wii, we played Smash. So if you're interested, come on. And that's it.
Yeah, History Colloquial Society.
History Colloquial Society did one day at Club Rush, and we enjoyed ourselves. For the Spring Festival, we discussed ideas, and we decided to show a movie, and that movie is called Mom's Mabley. It's about one of the forerunners to comedy who was kind of advocating for civil rights before it got in the swing of it. And if I remember the date correctly, it is on Thursday the 26th at 6 in the Forum building. We also have a History Bowl, which is already set to time and date. It's at 4/17, which is April 17th, from 1 to 3 p.m. It's hosted at CSU Stanislaus Faculty Development Office, and it's our society going head-to-head with Merced History Club and duking it out for the trivia, and the host is the mayor of Turlock. So that's already set and done, and it's going to happen.
So, is that all?
That's it.
We did Club Rush. I wasn't able to be there. I was sick all week, but we got 22 signups. Takes us up to 57 in total now for under a month. We decided also every Friday that we are going to have a think tank from 10 to 2, so everybody in the club can get together. We're going to work on projects. Our meetings are still going to be the first and third Friday, so we will be having this Friday, of course, at 2:30 in room 100 in this campus east.
Awesome. Is that all?
That's all.
Hi, Phi Theta Kappa is meeting in the Founders Hall, room 178 on Thursdays from 4 to 5. And we had our first meeting, just got in the room and talked about upcoming events. The ones is joining with the Freedom Forum with I believe it's for the dinosaur movie, and then also we are working on bringing in some guests. So we'll be doing a community service mixer coming up. We're also getting ready for our retreat, getting all that paperwork in, yay. And we're going to be endeavoring on an honors project. So if you're interested in research, part of what we want to do is establish something that's college-wide through our opportunity. It's called Honors. So we have our vice president, one of the vice presidents of Phi Theta Kappa coming to share about what the Honors Project entails. It's a year-long project. And we picked the theme of social experiments to bring empathy, to help gain empathy for people who come from different countries and different situations that are learning English as a second language. And so we have a lot of social experiments coming up on the campus so that people are looking at others as individuals and not the language they're speaking. And so if you want to get involved with that, we're more than happy to have you come be a part of Phi Theta Kappa as a guest and be a part of that. Phi Theta Kappa requires a 3.5 grade point average to join. And then we have different requirements as far as community service, committee work, college service, and club service, which is like 3 hours of each, and then 6 meetings per semester. But I really encourage you because it's a very competitive honor society, which means that universities and colleges you want to transfer to, almost all of them have Phi Theta Kappa scholarships, and so when you become part of it, you get recommendations from our advisors and can gain some extra monies when you're transferring. So please consider it and come.
Thank you.
Nothing to report. We have our meetings on Thursdays from 2:15 to 3:15, except for this Thursday we won't have a meeting since Dr. Bernard won't be able to attend.
As usual, we have our meetings every Wednesday from 5 to 6 in room 243 of the Performing Arts Centre, or building, depending on which publication you're reading. Also, we are still working on our next electronic music concert towards the end of March, I believe, sometime in April. So if you want... Beginning of April. Hopefully not April Fool's Day, that'd be weird. Anyway, so if anybody wants to turn up and join a club and actually compose and record something to be played for a free concert, that would be great.
Young Farmers?
We have a club meeting tonight, 6 o'clock at the Ace Pavilion on West Campus. And we have a breakfast burrito fundraiser next week, next Wednesday and Thursday. Wednesday will be on East Campus. Thursday will be on West Campus from 8 to 10. So we'll be on East Campus. We'll be across the street at the Ag Department. So come and see us.
Anthropology?
I don't have anything new to report, but we meet on Thursdays at 4:30 in Pirates Village, room 104. And
Okay, Anime?
All right, we have a meeting today at 3:30 near the music buildings. And that'll be all.
We'll soon have, remember, a new advisor in the room?
Oh, yeah, who's the new advisor?
All right, well, we have a possible new advisor, Professor Muncie, history professor. Once the paperwork's cleared in about 2 or 3 weeks, we'll have an actual room to meet in on Thursdays, I believe. 2:30, I think. I'll get back to you on the actual time, but yay, we actually got a room coming up. Hooray.
Awesome. Is that all? For, yes, visual arts.
I haven't seen any leisure stuff.
Just tell us to scoot over.
Okay, awesome. We don't have a meeting tomorrow. Our meetings are usually 4:30 to 5:30. So only the executives are going to meet and talk about possible trips coming.
Okay, awesome. All right, are there any other clubs that we missed? All right. If not, we'll move on to officer reports. All right, so okay. So they don't have anything to report, but I do have an address. Okay, so I have a couple items here. First, I want to say, now, so that way everybody's not rushing off when I do say it. Our next meeting is March 3rd at 2:15. Just so you guys can all write that down.
This is the Ides of March.
Yeah. So it's March 3rd.
I got March 3rd.
No, it's the week after next week. All right. And then I wanted to say that I did volunteer a lot at Club Rush, and I was very pleased with a lot of the clubs and you guys picking up your mess, but there were still a little bit of like messy things. I just ask that you guys be respectful to like the school, and just maybe if you see trash during our events and stuff like that, that we just pick it up. And then I also wanted to let you guys know that the new folders and binders did come in. So all our club charters, the ones that you guys have emailed me that are digital, will be printed out, and then they'll go into like pretty little folders that are like plastic bound and stuff like that. And they'll go into a drawer that we are working on. And so, yay. If you haven't emailed me your new club charter, please do. I've received a lot of them, but there are a few that are still missing. I also wanted to ask you guys if you did bring back to your clubs the idea of a Freedom Forum ICC at whatever.com idea. Yes. Yes. Yeah. Was it like taken in positively, negatively?
Yeah, I liked it.
All right. So I mean, if your clubs are okay, I don't mind creating all of them, and like the password will be all the same for everybody, and you guys just do what you want with it. I feel like it's just an easier way for everyone else to go out. Yes. So last meeting I brought up an idea of like, because everybody's like, oh, I don't receive your emails or something like that and stuff, or I'm not getting the emails. Well, I came up with the idea of like creating just like a natural list of all the clubs and just putting like Freedom Forum, for example, ICC at blah blah blah.com with either Gmail, Yahoo, AOL, anything like that. And then I know it's just giving me like
AOL anymore.
That's where my junk mail goes. But so it's just so that way everybody, like anytime a new club comes in, automatically, you know, I think that's great. They have an email, and then they can't say, oh, I didn't get the emails, because everybody has it. Yeah. Okay. So all right. So I'll start working on that then. And then I also wanted to say that last week I met with Luis, who's the president, and we talked about club accounts, which I'll address like under finance and stuff like that. We talked about clubs in general and anything like that. And if you guys we try and meet like on a weekly or bi-weekly basis. If there are any questions that a club wants to ask that just happens not to be in the office during that time, please email me your questions and I will ask. Yes.
I know that the matter of accounts is on the agenda for later, but were there any other matters that were discussed regarding clubs meeting the president? If we could get a synopsis of that.
So I did, we did talk a lot about paperwork, and because it's a lot of clubs, and I won't list them because I didn't list them then because a lot of clubs don't want to be like kicked out, I guess is how you'd say. A lot of clubs did address like the fact that why is our paperwork so long and why is it so extensive? Why does like clubs go through scrutiny, because it has to come here and then finance and then the student senate? So I did address that issue. He says that he's going to talk with the vice president of finance and try and like figure out something that will probably be a bit easier for us, because our paperwork takes several months in order to get through all those committees and stuff like that. So that's basically where our whole discussion was, besides club accounts, was on the paperwork on how we receive funding, like when we ask for funding from the student center. Any other, Anna, did you have your, did you ever collaborate? Anything else on the meeting with Luis or? So, I mean, if you guys have any questions about that, please email them to me. If I can't answer them myself, I'll definitely go to him and ask. All right. If not, that's the end of my report. We'll move on. There's nothing under unfinished business or consent calendar. So we'll move on to business consideration and possible action. The first.
I'm just waiting for your gift blast.
Oh.
Preparing the look on my face.
Oh. All right. So item A is the gift blast. So I actually kind of stole this idea from our sister college. And basically what they do is their student senate, because they don't have an ICC because their school is so small, Their student senate picks one person every month on their campus. It's either a teacher, somebody, a faculty, an administrator, and they gave them basically a small basket of like candy and like thank you cards and stuff like that. And basically it's just a sign of appreciation. And I thought it would be a good idea for us to do it, maybe two gift blasts every meeting, so 4 a month pretty much. And I was gonna let you guys come with like your nominations and whatever, and then you can decide or give a description on why this person should receive it this time and stuff like that. And then the ICC votes on it as a whole, who to give those things to. Yeah. So I just wanted to know your guys' 1 opinion on it, 2 whether or not you guys want to do it, and 3 how you want to go about doing these things. Yes.
Do they always have to be nice?
Yes. Well, I would hope that.
Then I hate this idea. No, actually, I kind of like the idea. Just one, funding. Is this going to be like a potluck surprise candy thing? Because I really am not sure if us expending 4 baskets a month would be, that might be good to public funds.
Yeah.
And finally, also, perhaps it would be better instead of having us all vote on it, that you just simply give it a rotation. That we should have enough time by the end of term for every club to have put somebody forward. Because goodness knows, like if a club presents somebody, for example, I don't know about the Musicians Guild, there's a very high possibility that they'll select a music faculty. But not all of us may be familiar with music faculty, which means that we may not ever select their nominee. But that doesn't mean that music faculty are not important. In fact, they're more important than most faculty.
Someone's biased.
Okay, so definitely.
Yeah. Well, that's the idea.
All right, definitely. So that's why I wanted it on the agenda, because I didn't want to just say this is how we're doing it. I want your guys' all of your guys' opinions if you have opinions. Yes, PTA.
To keep the cost down, because did you address what the monies? Because you can't really give gifts.
Yeah.
So my thought was the certificate of appreciation from the Interclub Council, and have a really nice certificate, and have the clubs that are part of the Interclub Council listed on the bottom of it with the date, and presented to the faculty would be really nice. Or a card instead of a card. They like to get certificates of appreciation from the.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
How does our sister college go about conducting this?
So our sister college, what they do is they have a really, really small senate. I think it has maybe 7 people in it as like total. What they do is basically they use their student funds to do it, and it's normally just one giant big gift basket with like little goodies and things from like their student senate, like coffee mugs and stuff, because they do all that cool stuff, and like a bunch of balloons. And they just go all 7 of them most of the time, just go to that one faculty member, and they give it to them, they take a bunch of pictures, and they post it on Facebook. They have a lot of campus life over there, even though they're a small campus. Yeah, so that's how they go about it. Yes.
Okay, so maybe not mean gifts, but how about constructive professional development gifts?
Why don't you write an article on how that's going to work, and then we can discuss it.
I think you should do a flow chart.
Challenge accepted.
Yes, please do.
Here we go.
So is there any other questions, comments, opinions on the gift blast?
Flowchart.
Like, is it something you guys want to do? If so, I'm gonna need a motion. And then I like the idea of rotating. I'm gonna go to him first.
So this gift bags is blast is going to faculty or people we choose in our faculty we choose in our school or in our
Yeah, so preferably it will be like somebody from faculty or administration, possibly not a student, preferably. We want to, it could be your advisor if you want, it could be a teacher that you're, like child development, you guys are based on the child development program, there's like a specific teacher that's just like outrageous, amazing. by all means, award them with that or something like that. But yeah, it can go to anybody on the campus. It can be the janitor, it doesn't matter. And they do great work. All right. And then, yes.
I move that the Interclub Council directs its executives to investigate the feasibility and coordination of assembling the gift glass to report back by the next council meeting.
I second.
Alright, so it was moved and seconded to direct the executives to investigate the feasibility and coordination of the, I'm sorry, it's not finished, gift glass.
Alright, Pastor Anders.
Alright, so if there are no objections, I'm gonna ask for any objections. Are there any? Hearing none, that is approved. Yay, is there any? Alright,
Stop at the watch porn. Legal.
so we'll move on. There's nothing under executive, but today I did just find out that their executive council will be meeting later on this week.
You missed the election.
No, okay.
No, we're not there yet. Oh, sorry, my bad.
Alright.
Next page.
So the executive council will be meeting on later this week. I believe that's everything under executive council. Legislation, so March and March, that is on March 2nd. I don't know what the student government is doing about signups. I have not seen anything. I know that we approved money to get a scorer bus to go up there and stuff like that. They have not collaborated with me, although I've gave them my phone number many times. So I really don't. Huh?
Who's this?
Vice President Borges.
Okay.
So I'm not sure. Yes.
I actually just ran into Vice President Borges, and he just told me he's going to bring, I think, 42 students max, and he'll be sending out applications next week. That's what he just told me. So.
Okay. So.
Sorry, which event is this for?
March and March.
Okay.
All right. So just to let you guys know, it will be on March 2nd. It's pretty much an all-day thing. Typically, we leave early in the morning and we come back in the evening. You guys visit your local legislators and senators and assembly people and stuff like that. And you guys basically talk about legislation. And so if you guys want to know more about that, you guys should come to the Freedom Forum meeting because I will be debriefing them on Thursday. All right, awesome. And then I also posted a legislative update on the ICC page, so if you guys haven't seen it, they're really nice. All right. All right, are there any questions on March and March? All right, if not, we'll move on. So we have elections. These elections, I should have probably put, they're for the Student Senate. They're coming up. Voting will be on the first week of April. We're going through the elections packet and procedures and codes and stuff like that. A couple of new things that are being thrown out is that how do I phrase this? In one of the sections of the elections code, it says that like the Student Senate cannot like back anybody on it. So it's still staying the same. The Student Senate can't sponsor anybody. The ICC can't sponsor anybody. But we are possibly adding if the legislative and the Student Senate adopt it, that clubs can sponsor a person. So like let's say that James is running and College Democrats sponsors James, kind of thing. Most likely, if that gets passed in legislation in the Student Senate, that's going to be on our elections code. That's one of the new things. There's a couple other procedures that are going to be changing in the elections code, possibly, and a keyword is possibly, on like how to campaign and when we can start campaigning and stuff like that. All right. Is there any questions on elections? Yes.
Oh
yeah, it's a big one. All right, so it's actually my job to look into the electronic part of it. I'm hoping that we do go electronic just because like we waste so much paper not doing it. So the president of CSU Fresno happens to be one of my best friends, and they have kind of like the connection with their electronics, so we're hoping to get their discount and go electronic with like how they do. So fingers crossed. we go electronic, and if so, then our elections codes will be slightly a little bit different to accommodate electronic instead of paper. Yes.
Will it be enough time for the elections? Or when is the elections actually?
First week April.
It's the first week of April, and that's one thing that we are trying to decide. Is it going to be the very first week of April, because that starts, I believe, on Tuesday or something like that, or we're going to make it the first full week of April? So that's discussion going on there too. Yes.
Do you know who's on the elections committee?
The subcommittee, it's Vice President Borges, myself, Eric Hurtasoto, and College Democrats, because I put you guys on. Sorry.
I missed one meeting. Suddenly I'm on a subcommittee.
Yes.
My life.
Yeah. So that's who's on the subcommittees. And if you wanted to be on the subcommittees, please talk to Vice President Borges. But if you plan on running, please, you can't. I'm sorry. It's just like a conflict of interest. I didn't know how to say that, but you can't. Anything else on elections? Yes.
Did you mention when the packet will be ready?
That's another thing. Vice President Borges is trying to hold a meeting on the 27th and have it all done by then, because of the Student Senate's Constitution and bylaws, there's like strict stipulations on when you have to have the debrief and stuff like that. So we're hoping to on the 27th have everything done and be able to get approved at the next Student Senate meeting, so that way we can start debriefing everything. So I don't know the exact dates. Hopefully it's soon.
So if it's electronic, it'll go through our email?
No. If it's electronic, there's like, have you guys ever been to a voting booth like during elections or anything when you're voting for like your congressman, like Jeff Denham? It just happened this past semester. I talked to you guys about it. You know, it's like a little booth, but it's actually going to be like on a computer kind of thing. Yes, any other questions? Yes, here.
Can we ask Vice President Huber, when is the next Senate meeting?
Right now, it's still planned for the 27th, but I haven't heard if it's been changed. There's been no due polls out or anything, so.
All right. Any other questions on elections? If none, seeing none, we will move on. All right, so I have here Parley Pro debrief. I just wanted to thank all of the clubs that did attend for attending. I actually couldn't attend, but I did watch the 3-hour video last night. Also, if you guys missed the Parley Pro presentation that Senator Andrews did, please watch it on our YouTube website. Yes, Senator Andrews?
Also, if there were clubs there that were not able to make it, I still have plenty of the packets available that go with that video. Come see me after the meeting and I will give you one.
So, okay. Can we scan those and put it on the documents so that we could just get it off of the documents page on the Weebly?
Do you want to do that?
Does he give you permission? Because he gave us permission.
He gave me permission to have it photocopied, so if I don't see it on it, I can ask him.
Maybe email it. Yeah, get an email from him giving permission. That'd be nice to have the PDFs right there on it so we could save paper.
Okay, College Democrats.
And since it's on YouTube, it might be a good idea to put the link to the Weebly website in the YouTube description. Oh, it's possible. Oh, boo.
Awesome. So, yep, that's all under that I have for Parley Pro debrief. Is thank you for attending. If you didn't attend, please watch the video. If you need a packet, talk to Senator Andrews about it. All right. So moving on, finance. Yay, finance. All right. So I have here club development account debrief. I don't, or Metcha, finance had a meeting, yes? The finance committee had a meeting last week, yes? Or no?
Not that I know of. I think it was canceled due to the holiday.
All right, so I was kind of hoping that they did have a meeting because I didn't attend. So, the club development, there's a club development line item, and every year the Student Senate puts a certain amount of money in it that we as the clubs can ask for if they approve it and stuff like that. I don't know how much we started with this year, and I don't know how much is left in it. but I did send in an AIR last night. It has specific questions and details. I asked how much we started with, how much was spent, how much profit was made, and what we have left. So hopefully by our next meeting that we will have all those questions answered and whatnot.
Quick question.
Yes, go ahead.
Is that club set that the item number will be, you know how they, when they go through this, you can get it from item, club 71 or 72, which one would that be?
I think club development is 71.
71.
Yeah, all right, yes.
So, regarding the initial line of the budget, I am not sure, at being a term, was there a substantial budget revision from the budget the Senate passed last year?
No.
So at the end of last term, when you were VP Communications and trustee, or whatever title we use right now, was president, what was the amount allocated to club development at that time?
That time? It was like a 20,000. Hold on.
No, that seems really low. Okay, hold on. Can you repeat the question? I lost you.
Because thank you, Jonathan.
It was bothering me.
Because the bylaws specify that the budget for the incoming term is passed by the previous term, which is really weird. The previous administration last year would have been responsible for passing this year's budget. That's why I asked what the item was when your term passed it. And then Vice President Weaver could probably speak to whether or not it was changed.
Well, it was.
1 second.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yes.
Okay, so the last 2 years, the approved budget for club development has been $20,000. Under my quarterly revise for the very end of the term, I think we upped it to 25, but there was a huge discussion in the first finance committee meeting of this year as to different things for different line items, and currently it's still my budget from last year that's on the website, so I don't have the current this year budget.
And then I had Senator Razzo and then PT.
I remember we went over the budget once. We changed a lot, but we're still waiting on Regos to get us the paper so we can do another budget revision so we can do another finance meeting. That's what we're waiting on, paperwork.
PTK?
Yeah, that was a big issue when we first started this year because we didn't actually have a budget that was done. The previous VP of Finance had stepped away, and so that budget didn't get collaborated and done and passed on to the new administration. So it was one of the first items we worked on. But I do know that what was discussed is the revision part of it, that's part of this process. It's not supposed to be done all the time, but there were some definite line items, and the thought was this semester you look at it, and if you need revision, you need revision. So that was a number we start with, but obviously we have a lot in reserve, and when we pass more than 20,000 for club trips and stuff like that, so where that's coming from, that would be definitely a question for the Vice President of Finance, and it may be good to invite him to come and really address that line item to the Interclub Council.
Yeah, really quick, I just need to address that. So I did send the AIR and it went to the Vice President of Finance and also went to the Student Senate because I asked for it to be on the agenda so that way if you guys don't make it, hopefully it gets on the agenda and you guys can watch it on YouTube. Yes.
I was going to say that this also kind of presents a larger procedural issue with the way we're doing things because first off, the bylaws, as well as the AS3 bylaws, as well as the ICC's bylaws, specify that club development is basically our operating budget. And so it's kind of alarming that we're in a circumstance where the 3 ICC officers aren't in a position to know how much money is available, which I'm pretty sure is probably a negative number based on how much we've expended on trips and other things, as well as just ratifying new clubs. This body sends representatives to the Finance Committee, and I really think that if possible, a discussion should be had with the Vice President for Finance and maybe get this codified, because part of the problem is that we are looking at expenditures from club development before finance does. Finance's job is to scrutinize and look at the numbers and make sure that there is funding or do what's necessary to make sure there is funding. We don't have the benefit of that deliberation. So if there could be some way to make sure that finance meets before it comes to this body, that would probably be very helpful for us to make sure that we are being good stewards of our operating budget.
All right, so I'll definitely express that to the Vice President of Finance now. I know that Finance typically meets an hour before the Student Senate meeting and decides whether or not to approve everything. That is a question that not only our representatives from the ICC to the Finance Committee have asked, and we've kind of gotten like the runaround, like, oh, we'll tell you next meeting, oh, we'll tell you next meeting, oh, we didn't meet with Gregos. But personally, I don't think you need Gregos to understand how much you put in and subtract all the money that we spent. But that's just me. So hopefully by next meeting and by the Student Senate meeting that we all have a debrief on the questions that I sent in during for the AIR and stuff like that. Right. Is there any other questions on club development account debrief?
Can we make that into a motion that we get a formal report from the Finance Committee, VP of Finance on the status? So you have all the questions that I asked? Yeah, a formal report.
Yeah,
because that way,
you can make that motion.
I will make that motion that we get a formal report, and I think that it would be very important to have. The three main question is how much. I have 4 questions here. How much did we start with? How much have we spent?
Oh, I asked those questions in the AIR.
Yeah, and then, well, because for the motion, these 3, how much profit was made and how much currently do we have?
Okay. Yes.
Just the club development line item?
I think that's specific to the Interclub Council, yes.
Because that's the only one covered on, right?
All right. So it was moved and seconded. Are there any objections? All right. If not, the motion passes. So we'll send that to the Finance Committee. All right. If there's nothing else anybody has to say about club development debrief, we'll move on to club accounts debrief. So when I met with Mr. Luis, we did discuss club items, and apparently there's only like 40 line items for clubs to have club accounts, and I was just like, slap me in the face. We have like way more than 40. Why aren't we adding some? And then Gregos, he told me that Gregos, and I don't want to do he said, she said, but this is what he told me. He told me that Gregos said that we have to look at the clubs and eliminate the inactive ones. And I'm like, all the clubs are active. The list I gave you, every club is active. So I guess he's going to talk to Gregos and try and create more lines so that way all of our new clubs can have their $300 seed money and clubs accounts. Yes.
So this has happened before because our district relies on an archaic piece of technology known as Datatel, which is awful. And the way Datatel is structured is that in the subdivisions for the budgets, there are actually only, for some reason, so many spaces available. And so we ran into this problem a few years ago when I was VP of ICC, and it required us to have some negotiations with Young Farmers at the time, because Young Farmers, those of you who don't know, is actually an umbrella club with smaller clubs underneath it. And Young Farmers' small subsidiary clubs each have their own accounts. But we ran into we're out of line items, so we had to negotiate with Young Farmers to consolidate their accounts into one account, and then free up other space elsewhere. Pretty much the only way we can solve this problem is for someone to figure out how to insert line items physically. Because that is awful.
Yeah.
It's awful. We've all experienced it. It's what we use to register for classes.
I remember this problem 4 years ago.
Was that a hand?
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify, Young Farmers isn't an umbrella club, because technically you're not supposed to have an umbrella club. We are subcommittees under the Young Farmers.
I stand corrected.
Then subcommittees shouldn't have their own accounts.
So that's basically what's going on. If you are a new club and you were ratified even last semester, which kind of makes you old now, unfortunately you might not have a club account. I know that you guys are new and the veterans are new, and I don't think History Colloquial Society has an account. Do you guys have an account?
Theoretically, we were active last semester.
Yeah, so then they should have an account. Yes.
Their account from when they were active before should still be there. Because one of the fun things with the business ops is they actually drag their feet about deactivating inactive accounts. So even though historical clock consolidated did go inactive, Grego's probably never got around to deactivating it.
All right.
So your account should still be there intact.
So hopefully the club accounts, like I said, will get resolved and every club will have at least a club account, because I know it's hard to do fundraisers and stuff like that if you don't. Yes. Yeah.
So we've been dealing with this issue about club accounts being established for quite some time, and I'm now hearing the excuse is that the business office says they can't create line items. Is that?
That is what President Rafaedo told me.
And it's one that I received several years ago too.
Right, but like, I don't know why we just now heard about it, and I know that there's been many times where we request proof that the president was trying to establish the club accounts as stated in the accounting procedures. He has to file a memo with the business office stating like, this is a new club, here's the minutes stating that they are legitimate, please establish a club. Has he furbished any of those documents?
I asked for those documents because in the past I was told that they were actual paper copies, but he said he emailed it to him, and I asked him to forward me the email, but the email was never forwarded to me. So, yes.
In this matter, I actually don't see any reason to question whether or not the president did submit the paperwork, because considering the high volume of clubs we have active now, this is the highest amount of active clubs at one time that we've had ever. So running into this this problem with the accounts is not necessarily, since it's happened before, I don't see this being completely unprecedented in that respect.
Right, I would agree with that, I think 42 clubs is a pretty high record for quite some time, except for maybe 44. The reference that I would give is like 3 months ago, or maybe 4 months ago, when Respiratory Care Club was first established. They were actually in contact with Luis many, many times, and he said, oh, I'm establishing it. They contact him the next week. I'm establishing it. I contact him the next week.
Yeah,
It got
I've heard that before.
all the way to the point where he actually paid out of pocket for one of their events to happen because he never filed the paperwork.
And got reimbursed.
So, I mean, maybe now we have made the necessary attempts to establish these accounts, and we're finding out that we have too many, which would be fine. But if it's still the case that people within our own organization are dragging our feet, then I think that's a big issue.
All right. I had the old young farmers rep and then PTK.
I just want to remind the delegation that only it can only talk twice on each agenda item, because you got people there talking 3 or 4 times. I'd watch that.
All right, go ahead, PTK.
I'm just wondering if we can make a motion that we send this to the next executive council to come up with a specific procedure, and then for them to define the process for this. And that way then, by creating the procedure and the process, then they can go to Gregos and really get more definition of then what we can come up with to do. What's the solution is, I guess, the point.
Okay.
So I would like to make a motion that we send this to, I can't do it this executive council meeting, but the next executive council meeting, to come up with a specific procedure and process that's defined to the ICC.
Second.
She made a motion. All right.
In regards to the club accounts.
All right. It was moved and seconded. Yes.
I would recommend that the executive council really consider vesting the responsibility for issuing the memo to the speaker and not to the presidency, only because the presidency is so detached from the operations of the ICC, it would make more sense for it to be the speaker.
And she's part of the executive council. Can I address? Sorry, as part of the executive council, then that's what I can do as the chair. I can then refer it to her. And I'd like it to be in the minutes and be a part of that executive council, because that's their job to come up with the procedures and the policies.
Thank you. All right. There are no objections. Can you restate your motion?
That we refer this to the executive council to come up with a procedure and a process in regards to club accounts.
All right. So it was moved and seconded. If there are no objections, we'll adopt that motion. Hearing none. Adopted. All right, so we'll move on to operations. I put under here another little idea that I took from our sister college. I love them so much. So posters to thank facilities. So as clubs, you guys know that all our paperwork pretty much has to get signed by Sherry Suarez. Yeah, she's like the facilities person, and sometimes yes, things fall through, but when they don't fall through, they're pretty awesome about it. And I thought it would be a great idea to show, as the ICC, our appreciation to facilities for letting us do our events and stuff like that, and hopefully it makes them more receptive. So maybe if our paperwork is a little late, we'll still sign it and we can still have our event on time. I feel like it's a win-win. It's like killing them with kindness is what my mom says, you know? Yes.
We can direct the guillotine and name it kindness. No, actually, I really think that I like the idea, but to be bluntly honest, I don't think that Sherry Suarez is, or maybe in the future will be, a viable recipient of this. I think that the people at facilities that we need to be thanking are the people who drag and haul things out and come up and clean up after us. Those are the people who really deserve our thanks.
So I mean, if you guys want to do this, I will take a motion and then we can discuss everything about it, that if you guys want to do it or don't do it. It's totally up to you guys. If not, we'll move on. All right. So I didn't hear anything, so yes.
Why do I?
College Democrats.
It wasn't you. Good.
I move that the ICC directs its officers to investigate putting up posters to thank facilities for their assistance and services.
Second. So it was moved and seconded to direct the ICC's officers to investigate posters for facilities.
And to report back by next meeting.
And to report back by next meeting. Awesome. Okay. All right. Are there any objections? All right. Hearing none, we will do that. Awesome. All right. So under activities, we have the Women in Leadership Conference. No, I got it. We have the Women in Leadership Conference debrief. It actually shouldn't say debrief. I'm so sorry. It's more of update.
Okay.
Yeah.
When did this happen?
So, Senator Dana, I believe is her last name, and Senator Tangala and Tafoya are planning on combining. They've already done Senator projects, but they want to do another one, which is Women in Leadership. It was first started with Senator Lavelle last year, and they're hoping to bring it back this year. They're hoping to have it on April 18th, I believe, and they are going to be asking for help from the clubs to volunteer passing out food and setting up and tearing down and stuff like that. Basically, I believe they're going to try and get like some of our women who are local representatives and stuff like that to speak at the conference. They'll be having workshops. They will not be doing the prom dress drive this year because last year it was pretty difficult to do. But if you guys want more information on that, she was supposed to be here, but I don't know what happened actually. Okay. So if you guys have any questions on that, please see Senator Dana. I believe she's the point person on this project. All right? All right, we good on that? Yes? Awesome. All right, so we already did Club Rush debrief. So then we have Spring Festival. It is on March 30th. So Senator Enriquez has been here a few times to discuss it. If you did not sign up by the deadline to her, then no money is like allotted to your club, but you can still participate, meaning that you guys can fill out an activity sheet if you're going to be selling things or anything like that, and you can participate, but it will come out of your own club money unless you request money from ASMJC or the Student Senate. That's up to you guys. So it is March 30th. I believe that's a Monday. It's only on West Campus, and I believe it goes from 10 to 3. So if you have any questions on that, please contact Senator Manriquez. She's the Senator for Science, Math, and Engineering. Her email is student.yosemite.edu. I'm sorry, I was thinking about mine. All right, there are no questions on Spring Festival. We'll move on. This item is actually PTK's item. It's the Rockin' Bounce Dodgeball Club competition. Go ahead and take it away.
Computation.
So we had we've been doing the club competition, the club games, and so I talked with Charles about, he had an idea that they have a new trampoline place on McHenry that's opened up. So the question is obviously to try to play dodgeball on trampolines. The concept is such a great one, but it might be a little extreme and risky and not allow a lot of people to participate. So something else that we could do, we wanted to bring it to the table to come up with ideas, is that we could do, we were talking like a game, when you play basketball, a game of horse, where one does a certain thing and then the rest of the clubs have to do it, and if they don't do it, then that's how you eliminate. But it would be a competition that we would hope to encourage ways that, again, clubs could participate in a collaborative way on a day, and we're looking at April Fool's Day on Wednesday from noon to 5. It is a midweek one. We would be the only ones there. We can have up to 100 participants there, they said, and anyways, it's about $16.58 per person, and we'd like to ask ASMJC to fund this event for all the clubs to collaborate and get together, because we haven't had a chance to because of the games not happening. So I think it'd be a great thing, and then also to include in the request some winning money for the clubs to create that competition. So we just wanted to bring it to the table. We it's a basic, how many people sign up, $16.58 per person, and then additional after that is the prize winning money. So, do you have a question?
Yes, so you can ask ASMGC to fund for all of us.
Fund the event, because a collaborative event to really encourage just the clubs to be together at an event, and then also to ways that clubs could, like the club, I don't know what they call it, the club games.
That was called the ICC Cup Games.
ICC Cup Games, thank you. That through the ICC Cup Games, those ways that clubs could earn money, because not all of them can. It's really hard to do fundraisings. We get so saturated, but it was a way to bring some funds into the club accounts.
So every club would go, whatever the members, how many members they would take, we would sign up first, and that we have these many people that would like to go, and this is how much it's going to cost first.
Yeah. Really quick, I want to just point out something. So Vice President Weaver just said that it's a maximum of 100. So we do have currently 44 clubs, so if we can evenly divide that between 100, and if a club decides to opt out, then could by all means have some other clubs fill in those positions. I don't want I don't want Freedom Forum to have 70 people there. You know what I mean?
Those are the ones on the trampolines. I don't know. I think we could have more there, but on the trampolines, that's the max we could have. So the clubs could be able to maybe, let's say, have a group that come up with 10 people come, and they have 3 representatives from their clubs that are going to participate.
Awesome. Sounds
And still, every member still good.
College Democrats.
It's also a lot of us do tend to hold membership in multiple clubs as well, which means that with a lot of co-opting membership, it actually frees eventually seats up for more students to attend. I was just going to ask, because trampolines are so much fun, and I love them, and especially the possibility of throwing things at people on them really gets my heart aflutter. But because of the dimension that it can be a bit extreme, do we have any idea if risk management is going to be okay with it? Remember, risk management thinks that we can drown in fountains.
Yeah, they do.
Really quick, let me address that, and then I'll let Vice President Weaver. When she pitched this idea to me, I asked that question first. So we're trying to figure out a way where it's a little less risky, and risk management will just approve it. So if you have anything to say on it, please do.
I would like to lay out some ideas to them, but I wanted to bring it here first. And we would like to, as you know, PTK, we would like to host it. And so we would like to also maybe use this as a platform to begin maybe something that maybe work in the future, where whoever hosts the event gets the minimum amount of prize money, and that way they don't participate. They host it and they do all the work. And so a third place prize package would be worth hosting the event, or the fourth pay, whatever is the minimum for that club to come, and they would be in charge of getting everyone there and you know, all the registration, all the follow-up, presenting it to the SMJC, the budget, everything for the benefit of the Interclub Council. And again, if it works out, then we would have more collaborative events, because clubs then could say, I'd like to host, this is my idea, an event for all of the clubs to participate.
Electronic music.
Will there be some form of protective headgear for this? Because all I can imagine with a bunch of people bouncing around in the trampoline room is they go at the wrong angle, heads go bang! You know, everyone flying around, moaning with a concussion, that sort of thing.
That's why maybe the game of horse would work, because then we could find something that was more difficult or easy, and as long as they're, and they would not be throwing balls at people, but things.
BSU.
I moved into the ICC adopt Rocky Bounce Volleyball Club competition.
All right.
I second.
So it's moved and seconded for
Thanks
the
for fun.
ICC to adopt.
Could we,
What exactly is this?
could you, PTK would host it?
Yeah, but like as a,
So we adopted and you guys hosted it, yes.
yeah. So it was moved and seconded for the ICC to basically participate in this event, and it's hosted by PTK this time. Are there, yes?
We're getting the ASMJC funding, so maybe a positive recommendation.
Yeah, and I have a not to exceed, then it would be 25, because it would include prize money. It would be $1,658 for 100 participants, and then above that, I would add the up to 20, not to exceed 2,500, and we'd decide how to divide the prize money.
All right.
And that's 100 people total.
Participating at the maximum.
Other facts, but the other club members who just come to watch, that's right. Am I correct?
Not to exceed.
All right. Can you repeat that?
No, I need clarification on the motion.
All right. Can you clarify your motion and correct?
Because like, can I speak?
Yeah.
As it is currently, this is just an idea. Like, there's no necessary actions provided to it. There's no finance behind it. There's, I mean, I don't know what you guys want.
Really quick. Hold on. Call it.
If I may.
Sorry.
Republican with a little r. If I may ask, member for Phi Beta Kappa, what would you like this body to do?
I would like this body to adopt it as an event and give me permission to ask ASMJC on their behalf to fund it not to exceed $2,500.
I move what she said.
All right, so really quick, we already have a motion on the floor.
No, you have an incomplete motion.
But it was seconded. It was moved and seconded.
A seconded incomplete motion,
Okay.
which the chair should rule out of order.
Well, I resecond that.
All right, so I'm going to rule the first motion out of order. So it was moved and seconded to, can you, James, can you see?
All right, I move that the ICC, one, take the item on to participate, that we provide any support and assistance to Phi Beta Kappa that they will require in executing and planning the event, and I move that we support Phi Beta Kappa's fund request of $3,100?
No, I'm just saying that's like 3 motions.
$2,500.
Approximately $2,500 to fund the event.
All right.
I can do a composite motion, I just did.
All right, so it's moved and seconded. Are there any objections? All right, hearing none. All right. So we'll wait to hear back from PTK on that. All right, so there's nothing under communications, but watch the YouTube videos, guys. It's not just our meetings, it's not just the Senate meetings, it's livestock and sports games, basketballs tonight.
Yeah, sports ball.
Really quick. All right, so communications from the floor. Yes, PTK.
From the floor, sorry.
I would like to take a minute to address the situation that happened about voting last time that was brought in the parliamentary training.
Oh, yeah.
respectively College and ICC, we had a discussion, and then I brought it to the parliamentarian that was at the meeting. Because this is a separate body, there's two different, and I brought up being a part of a committee, you vote, and then you turn around as an officer and you vote again. He did support that these are two separate times. I'm Phi Theta Kappa right now, and I'm voting as Phi Theta Kappa representative. So I can then, in that other body, as the executive vice president, vote again. And I really wanted to clarify that, because I also want to, I appreciate James, because we have great conversations about that, but also encourage this body not to react when those things are brought forth, but really think about it and respond, because I saw that people withheld their votes right away and reacted, and they didn't really look, and we talked about this, looked into it, because I represent my club, and I think it's very important not to give that vote up so quick. I also represent the students here in that role as executive vice president, and I don't want to give that vote up very quickly. And I felt like there was a great reaction that happened there, and so I encourage us as a body, if we feel like there's something that's of merit, that we really bring it back and consider it and bring it back to this body. And so as from the floor, I really wanted to just address that it was supported, you can watch it, and that I did ask the question.
Yes, it's in there.
I asked the question, and he answered it, and so I encourage you to watch that, and I did that as, in that moment, I really felt like I was representing this interclub council as the Phi Theta Kappa representative, so.
Awesome, thank you. Geology.
The clubs that have your stuff in the back room, you have till the end of this week to get it out of the back room, because it's really cluttered in this moment right now. So I think it's Young Pirates for Liberty, College Republicans, Anime, and AGS has their two giant tubs that are out in the main office over by Roxanne's desk. So you guys have till the end of this week to get it out. After that, I'm moving it out to the trash.
I'll talk to Grant.
Thank you. Are there any other communications from the floor? Yes.
I have a request for the speaker on future agendas. One, restore an ending time for the meetings.
Okay.
And two, consider placing time limits on the individual items.
So I'm just gonna address that. I thought about that, but somebody told me to take it off. Just saying.
Ignore something. Because I can tell you that the first meeting of the year, which I chaired, I did put items on the time limit, and we actually flew.
Yeah.
Because believe me, when an item's on 15 minutes, people will actually think twice about extending time on an item when it expires.
Well, all right. So I'll definitely do that. I personally love that idea. Yes.
In parliamentary procedure, they said the meeting should only last he said the meeting should only last 1 hour.
Yeah. I disagree with that.
That's very agree with the guy who votes a parliamentarian for the SSCC. Also, I would say as well that we should probably really look into written reports for clubs and officers, unless there's something substantive that requires the body's attention at the time that we're running them. Our meetings are almost a third to half taken up just in reports, in which, listening to the reports even today, were mostly clubs repeating meeting times, which have largely been fixed from 2 meetings ago.
All right. So I'll send out an email. I believe I tried this at the beginning of my term for you guys to email your reports to the clerk. So that way we can just put it on like the agendas as an attachment, like a supplementary document. So that way, some people are shy, I understand that.
Who's the clerk?
It's Andrew. So if you guys want to take down his email right now, it's asmjcclerk@student.yosemite.edu. All right, and then I just have one other thing. I did watch the parliamentary procedure video last night, and the only real new thing I learned was our minutes. So we're pretty awesome is what I found out during that meeting. But so our table, like who's present, who's tardy, or who's absent is awesome. But I would really, if you guys want next meeting, I will have like a more formal piece of paper, and I'll have all the clubs listed, and you write your name next to it, just so that way when the motions and stuff go down, we have the name and the club of the person, because like you said, 2 years from now, we're not going to know who made that motion, who voted that way. So before you guys leave, if you can put down your club name and your first and last name on this piece of paper, you guys will be doing me a great big favor.
And submitted the question.
We have to be honest.
Yes, please. And then, all right, so we'll go on to announcements. Jonathan, you had something you want to?
Yeah, I have the package here with me now.
All right, so Jonathan has the parliamentary procedure packets. If you guys want it, please speak with him. And then adjournment, so we are going to adjourn at 4:44. Or 3:44, I'm sorry. 3:44. All right. Thank you.
Put your placards up.
Oh,